Welcome to another episode
Next episode.
of the Thought Exchange Cafe.
Greetings and welcome to another episode coming to you from the Thought Exchange Cafe podcast, where we bring you educational, motivational, and inspirational content, as well as some information that may help you to eliminate some of your fears. Not all of them, but some of them through our own life experiences, through my own life experiences. And some of the fears you got to confront yourself so that way you'll have a story to tell, but also you can help someone else to create some different pathways when they get stuck at those crossroads. So thank you for tuning in and thank you for sharing. And first, I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for subscribing. I want to thank you for passing on some of this information that you thought was going to help someone else. As you know, on this, if you've been watching me here at the Thought Exchange Cafe, I don't come from a script. I don't come from something that has been acted out. And half of the time, I don't even write things down. Why? Because it's better to come from the heart, because coming from the heart, that's your authenticity. That's not you saying when you write things down on paper, well, that don't sound right. Oh, this don't look right. Let me change it. No, I'm coming to you just the way I am, because I had to figure it out. Just the way I am is good enough, and it has to be good enough for me. And if it's not good enough for someone else, then guess what? There's nothing that I can do, because the first law of nature, does anyone know what the first law of nature is? The first law of nature is self-preservation. You have to preserve yourself first. And sometimes that's a hard learn, and learning how to do for self first. Because I know for myself, I'm a giver, and I've been a giver from birth. My mom was a giver. Lord bless my mom's heart. She's still here in spirit, but she's no longer here in the flesh. But I can hear her talking to me. I can hear her saying to me, son, don't be no fool. And my mom, her name was Cornelia Davis. And she came up here from down south, back in the backwoods when they was picking cotton here to Massachusetts. Well, from down south, Georgia to Florida to Massachusetts. And she had a 6th grade education. And she did the best that she could to raise her children. It was my 2 sisters. Well, it is my 2 sisters, my 3 sisters, excuse me. They're still alive. And me and my brother, my younger brother. And so she did the best she could to raise us the right way that she could. But I knew my mom knew that I was going to need something more than what she could give me. I remember living in Jamaica Plain Projects, and my mom on Sundays would put me in a cab and send me to St. John's Baptist Church. And I was just a little boy back then, and I didn't understand why she was just sending me. And I'm looking around at saying, well, my sisters ain't going, my brother ain't going. Why is it just me? And then later on down the line, I figured it out. That she knew as the oldest son, I was going to need more than what it was that she could give me. And I'm not talking about giving me in like food and clothing and shelter, but instilling something in me on the spiritual side. And when I began to understand that, it opened up some different doors for me. Because see, I've been down some roads. I've been in some places. I've been in some very dark places. And I believe in my spirit and in my heart of hearts, it was because of what my mom did for me as a little boy, sending me to St. John's Baptist Church. Did she know I was going to need something more to protect me from this world or from the people in the world. Because remember, the world just turns around, right? But it's the people in the world that we engage with, right? It's those people that can become influences and impacts, positive or negative, yin and yang. And so I say all that just to say that I'm grateful that my mom sent me there. I'm grateful that I am here today sharing this message with you. And I like sharing a message of hope. I like sharing the message of inspiration, strength, education, because I can remember going through and not knowing how I was going to get to the other side, not knowing if I was going to live or die. I didn't know. So, in one of the episodes, I talked about patience, persistence, and positivity, but also planning. Because sometime in our planning, I know in my planning, I would get caught up in paralysis analysis and just get caught up in the planning stage and never moving. And by never moving, I was never growing, I was never achieving anything. But what was building was that fear and that doubt. And time was moving. So today I'm here sharing a message with you, with the person on the other side that is listening to me or those that have tuned in. Why? Because as people, this is what we do. We share stories with one another because it's those stories of the past that has helped us right here in the present. And the stories that you have accumulated through your own life are not just stories for you to be put back in your mind, to be stored away. Those stories are for you to share with someone else so they can have a story to tell. So see, and that's a legacy because we talk about stories that our aunts and our cousins and our friends told us, but also we talk about stories about things that have happened to us in our own lives. And some of those stories brings about laughter, and some of those stories bring about some tears just as well too. So they affect us emotionally. And I talk about emotional intelligence. And I do the best I can to talk about emotional intelligence, energy, frequency, and vibration, because these are things that I am continuously learning on a daily basis. Why? Because I'm a ball of energy. I'm a ball of emotions, fear, doubt, anger, jealousy, the whole nine yards. They're there and they're always going to be there, but it's how do I control them? And it's about how you control them. Because when we practice emotional intelligence in our daily lives and in situations that occur, and we either react or we respond, what I've learned is that I don't have to be in that continuous loop of reacting like everyone else is reacting. I can just take a moment and listen. And that's why God gave me two ears, just to listen. Because that person might be saying something and it may not be coming from them. It may be their voice, but it could be coming from a, a higher source that delivers me messages because not all messages are meant to feel good. And there are some messages that don't feel good, but they're going to help you along the way. Because I know there were some messages that were given to me that I didn't particularly like. And I didn't like the person who they were coming from either. So I wanted to say, shut up. Why are you talking to me? And a couple of times I did do that. And I've learned that now, let me just listen. Let me listen because there's something to learn here. There's something to learn. But also at the same time, maybe you could be saving that person's life by allowing them just to get some things off of their chest. But I want to remind you this, as my mother reminded me, and as she still reminds me today, Tony, don't be no fool. Don't you be no fool. Don't get caught up in narcissism. Don't get caught up in other people's stuff, because other people don't mind pulling you in to their stuff. Because when they pull you into their stuff and you agree to it, you agree to the outcome of that just as well. So I did, I made a promise that I was going to be sharing some things out of this book that I'm reading, The Frequency Effect. And I want to make sure, and I'm keeping my promise, not just to you, but I'm also practicing accountability, because I know about getting started on something and having what is it, the motivation to get started, but not having the discipline to continue. So you're my accountability partner. And thank you for agreeing to that, even though you may have not, but thank you so much for keeping me accountable. So I want to share something with you. Actually, I'm going to share something with you out of 2 books. And the one that I'm currently reading right now, once again, is The Frequency Effect. And what I'm going to share with you is chapter 8, The Subconscious Operator. Let me just see if I can give you a quick. I hope you can see that. The subconscious is not passive. It's active, always running, always filtering, always reinforcing. It governs over 90% of your decisions, reactions, and perception without asking for permission. It's not trying to sabotage you. It's trying to maintain internal consistency. Whatever emotional state and beliefs have been repeated most often are treated as safe, even if they're unwanted. This means the subconscious doesn't guide you toward what's best. It guides you toward what's familiar. And I'm going to ask you to think about that for a moment and see if that's something that you've done or something that you're doing right now and really not aware of it. And why do I say that? Because after I read and I take a look back at myself, I say, wow, Tony, you was in that loop. You was in that continuous loop of thinking, you feeling, thinking, and acting. So what are you going to do now? So now I practice a few different things. One of the things I practice is journaling, meditation, prayer, and taking just a few minutes to listen to myself, but also to allow those thousands of thoughts in my mind. I'm going to feel them. I'm going to see them. I'm going to think about them, but I'm not going to allow them to have me react, because some thoughts are just fleeting, as they say. So when I come back, I'll be sharing another chapter with you, or I might be sharing another page with you, because this is the type of reading that you just don't read and keep reading. This is the type of reading that you read, you stop, you meditate, and you do some internal investigations about self. Another saying that says, what don't apply, let it fly. But if it does apply, then check yourself. And sometimes I have to check myself. The next book is just a book of inspirational leadership quotes, Finding the Courage to Lead by Gifford Thomas. And this is a book that I go to every now and then when I have a little bit of some self-doubt, or there's some questions that are going on, or I'm saying, what the heck am I doing? Because so I own and operate a small construction business, but I also do quite a few other things. I'm a board member at a prestigious community development center. I have Mastermind Organized Effort Public Speaking Leadership Academy. I am a certified public speaker, and I got my certification from MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. And here in Massachusetts, or just say all over the place, you got to have a piece of paper to kind of say, this is your ethos, this is your credibility. But one thing I believe, and I'm going to stand on it, is that your life story and your life experiences is the greatest ethos that you're ever going to have. And in another episode, I will talk about ethos, pathos, and logos and I use them every day, as well as how you utilize them every day without even knowing. So let me share this with you. And this is out of page 80. We need to accept that we won't always make the right decisions, that we'll screw up royally sometimes, understanding that failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of success. And let me just read that part again. Understanding that failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of success. Thank you so much once again for tuning in and giving me an opportunity to spend some time with you. Once again, my name is Tony Davis. I'm the host and the creator of the Thought Exchange Cafe podcast. And if you would like to reach out or even come in studio, you think that you may have something to share with some others, and just don't think about it. Just come on and do it. You're welcome here. This is a safe space. Also, we have quite a few other folks here that comes into the space. We have B.O.B., and I'll tell you who that is later on down the line. We have Exclusively Yours. We have In Spite Of. We have, what is it? We have From Church to Street. And these are some people that you're going to meet. And there are some amazing people doing some incredible things in the community. And not just in the community, but sharing information that's going to help others to change the trajectory of their lives just as well through their own experiences and their stories. Until I see you again, may God bless you, keep you, and stay safe. And please continue to tune in, share this information with someone that you think may need it, and continue to support the Thought Exchange Cafe. I look forward to your comments just as well. Matter of fact, I urge you to comment. I did get a comment from one of my viewers. And Mrs. Baines, I want to let you know that I heard you. And we're going to bring up that subject about our children and how our children are perishing, how our children are dying at tremendous rates, and it's not being televised and no one's really talking about it. So I'm preparing for that just as well. So I want you to know that I heard you, Miss Banks. So once again, may God continue to keep you, hold you, and stay safe.